Yo, what is going on, YouTube? Hope you guys are doing fantastic today. Today we've got a banger for you guys. I know you guys like these tip videos. I know you guys like hearing like higher level players and little secrets about characters that not a lot of people know, or newer players people know. So I got 7 tips for you guys to help you improve as a support. Some of them are a little bit more basic, more beginner friendly, and some of them even help into veteranhood or masters, diamonds, stuff like that. So starting with number 1, understanding the basics of building, or understanding building if you're a little bit higher. Building comes down to relics, starters, counter building, anti-heal, when to build power items, protections, which kind of protections, when to build a protections, when to build renewal, when not to build it, thieves, stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff about support. Building is this big giant tree of knowledge that you're trying to like soak in and understand. Just understand the basics. First off, build a support starter. I don't even care if it's War Flag. War Flag is better than any other starter because it's really good into 2v2, even if it falls off very, very quickly. Sentinel's Gift, Benevolence, War Flag. Build one of those 3. That is the basics of the basics. Beyond that, make sure you're just building protections a little bit, getting a little bit of tankiness. If they have some physical gods, build like a Sov. If they have magical gods, build some Heart Words, Fey Blessed if you're a healer. If you really don't know much about Smite, you really just don't understand building, you can't get a grasp on it, I've got a few guides on my channel all over the place. But the basics of it is build one of the starter items, build into Thebes, and then from there on, the world is your oyster. Spirit's Robe is always solid, Purdue and stuff like that. It's this giant, in-depth thing building is, but the basics of it are just build some protections, build to make sure you're living the enemy team. That is kind of your job as a support. Number 2, kind of going with number 1, don't last hit minions. This is the biggest in laning phase, but it does scale past laning phase because it's just extra gold throughout the game. So do not last hit minions in laning phase. Obviously, it's not like a huge thing. Like if you clear this wave, you hit level 3 and then you can go in. It's not that big of a deal. But in the entire game of Smite, you're going to get a ton of gold and healing back from these minions. Sentinel's Gift. Getting the assist for an enemy minion or jungle monster dying will provide 8 bonus gold, 15 health, and 8 mana. If you don't hit a single minion, don't last at a single minion in the laning phase, 6 minions, 6 times 15 is 90. You're getting 90 health back per minion wave, and this is not including jungle camps, stuff like that. So do not last hit. Benevolence, a little bit more funky of wording, but basically you get stacks which heal you and your ally when you don't get last hits. Still really big. And War Flag, getting an assist when an enemy dies provides a stack that gives 1% movement speed, 2% attack speed for 8 seconds, up to 10 stacks. And then when you've gained 3 or more stacks, once per ability, each time you damage an enemy, 18 health mana. So you basically do not last hit minions. It is not the point of the support starters, and you're going to be putting yourself behind, you're going to be putting your ally behind. Number 3, kind of with the other 2. Support and dual lane ADC, it's a battle of attrition. It goes beyond just your health. Your health is a resource. Your mana is a resource. Your cooldowns are a resource. Farm is a resource. There's a bunch of different resources in dual lane, and you need to account for as many of them as you can. The biggest 2 are health and mana. If you have no health, you can't win a trade. If you have no mana, you have a hard time winning a trade. Do not spam abilities on the wave, especially if you're low on mana. Do not take too much health damage just walking at the enemy ADC, and your ADC can't really trade any damage back. And then don't take a ton of damage from minions. It's really complicated, it's really in-depth, but the simple part of it is your health is a resource, your mana is a resource. Don't lose either just kind of for no reason. Number 4, simple one, but still a lot of people mess it up. Don't chase kills. Unless you're playing an assassin or a warrior and you're going to chase that kill and you're going to get it in no time, or like a Janus or something like that, there is very, very, very rarely a point to chase kills. It's big, and it can be pretty big when it comes down to like, can you kill this healer like a Hell or an Afro before she gets her heals off? That might be an important kill. But for the most part, for the majority of games, for the majority of players, do not chase kills as a support. Just stay back with your ADC, stay back with your mid laner. If you're more of a dive support like Sobek or something, once the character starts running away with low health, just turn and help your team. Because once they are low, they are essentially dead in that team fight because they're either going to have to reset or they're going to have to go heal off something. Just let them go help your team. Number 5, tanking towers and objectives. Support in Smite is different than support in League. In League, you don't really tank towers necessarily, or your jungler does it usually. Sometimes your support can do it, but your support's just never really tanky in League, or just less tanky than your top laner or your jungler. Same with like other games and objectives. You can't really tank objectives as a support in other game or in League because you want your jungler to do it, stuff like that, yada yada. Your job in Smite is to be Very tanky to be able to tank objectives like Gold Fury, Fire Giant, Pyro, buffs if your teammates are low, and then also to tank towers. Keep in mind now, towers have pen on protections, and their damage ramps up pretty quickly now. So you don't tank them too long, but if your team is trying to dive somebody, if you are healthy or if you're not one hit, you should be the one tanking the tower. Number 6, warding isn't your only job, but it is very, very important. Warding is a team thing, but it is mainly on your team, your job. Your teammates usually use their free ward. Maybe they grab one sentry or just one regular ward on their backs. You should be filling out your consumable slots with wards in the mid and late game. Even in the early game, beyond like the first level 1, level 2, level 3, you can grab like a couple pots when you leave out the first few times. But once it gets to like the mid and the late game, you have so much HP 5 on just your starters or your thieves or your sovs or renewals or whatever you have that those extra pots are going to be doing nothing. And if you're buying mana pots, you're trolling. I'm sorry, mana pots in support are genuinely useless, or generally, not genuinely, generally rather useless than you're playing something like Hell or Afro and you just need the mana. Warding is your job. Try to get deep wards where you know the enemy is going to pass, the enemy red buff, entrances from the jungle to the lane, stuff like that where you know the enemy is going to path on, and then on objectives. Not only your job, but it's a very important job. Last but not least, number 7, understand how your character plays. When I first started playing, I would get Kepris that are blinking onto the back line, trying to get as much damage onto their enemy ADC, dying, doing no damage, and letting the ADC just heal off of them. And I've seen Kuzenbos just sit back and peel, not do kind of Kuzenbo things. Understand how your character plays. If you're playing something like Sobek, you want to pluck somebody that you think your team can kill, whether it's a front liner, a jungler, a mid laner, a hunter, whatever it is. You want to pluck somebody that you think your enemy or your team can kill. Sometimes plucking a solo laner might seem decent. But then if you think about it, oh, this is a level 18 Amaterasu. My mid laner's 13. Are we going to kill him if I pluck? Probably not. So understand how your character plays. Understand what they want to do. You playing Ymir. Understand you want to wall off the enemy, whether it's just one person, 2 people, 3 people, or walling off an ability, whatever it is. Understand how your character wants to play and play that character to the best possible way that you can play them. But there it is. 7 tips. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If there's anything that you guys think I missed, anything that is a pretty big tip that you guys have for others that are trying to learn the game or are mid-level players and they're trying to get better, toss it in the comments below. Make sure you guys drop a sub, like the video. We're almost at 10K. I love bringing it up because I never really thought I would get to 10K, and it's absolutely crazy. I hope you guys are enjoying the content. I've been really enjoying it, so I hope you guys have been too. I'll see you guys again next time. Peace.